LEGO Star Wars has been releasing sets for 25 years at this point, with so many good and beloved sets released every single year. Today, I decided to look back at what I consider the best LEGO Star Wars sets every year, from all the way back in 1999 up to 2024. These videos tend to be quite subjective, so drop your thoughts down below. Back in the first year of LEGO Star Wars, we didn't get to see that many different sets. But out of the few we did see, I think the TIE Fighter vs Y-Wing was the best of this year. We got a simple build of both the Y-Wing Starfighter and the TIE Advanced, seen in the Death Star trench scene in A New Hope. It is rather sad that we have never seen this dual set remade in modern years, as the concept of these two sets together would be perfect today as well. LEGO Star Wars was renewed for its second year with a few more sets, many rather bad and some quite good. The standout set to me was the Trade Federation AAT, and it could even be argued that this is still one of the best AATs ever made, despite being well over 2 decades old. The build was really nice, and I think this set aged much better than other sets released in the year, including the UCS sets. The first Ultimate Collector set that I want to look at in this video is the Tantive 4, and this is also the only version of this vehicle in UCS form. At the time, it was simply an insane LEGO set, and one of the largest LEGO sets ever made at the time. To this day, it holds up fairly well, despite a few remakes being made over the years. But unfortunately, it had no added minifigures, as minifigures weren't really the norm in these larger UCS sets in the earlier years. With the release of Attack of the Clones, we saw a whole lot of new prequel sets in 2002, and out of these, I think the Jango Fett Slave One was definitely superior to the other sets this year, simply because it is one of a kind set for now, and the other really good sets of the year were remade in much better ways in years to come. This was a massive upgrade to the previous Slave One, and decades later we still haven't seen this version of the Slave One remade, although that is set to change very soon. 2003 was yet again not the most interesting year, with quite a few lackluster sets, but between them all I selected the iconic Cloud City set as what I consider the best set of the year. This set is mostly known for its insane value today, going up to $10,000 in new condition right now, with minifigures that are incredibly rare and sought after, notably Boba Fett, which was one of the first minifigures with arm printing ever made. Although I think the set is a bit overrated, it is still probably the best set in 2003 by quite a bit. 2004 had quite a few really good sets, and it was quite hard to select a single best set between the standout sets of the year. But eventually I decided on the X-Wing fighter released this year. This is easily the most unique depiction of the X-Wing in LEGO Star Wars, set in the Dagobah scene, including minifigures to fit the part of the movie. Additionally, we saw some overgrowth on this X-Wing, as well as a small Yoda's Hut side build. I honestly think this is better than the standalone Yoda's Hut set from years later, and with this all in this one set, I think it surpasses the other sets released this year. With the release of Revenge of the Sith, we once again got so many different sets from this new prequel movie, and many of these are incredibly sought after and nostalgic today. However, there was a set that was not a part of this movie that I consider the best of the year, and that has to be the UCS Death Star 2. This was the first depiction of the Death Star in LEGO, and to this day definitely the best, and was never remade, despite so many demands for it. However, that is set to change very soon as well, as a $1,000 Death Star 2 set is rumored for next year. Only time will tell whether that is a true rumor and whether it will be worth that money. The quality of new LEGO Star Wars sets was slowly becoming better every year, and in 2006 we saw yet again another well-needed update of the Slave One, which was an incredible set with an incredibly good price of only $50 US. To many, this is considered the best Slave One playset ever released, notably because of its really good price point, design, and just nostalgia behind it. But I think there are some better remakes down the line nonetheless. Regardless, this was for the time simply perfect, and easily, in my opinion, the best set of the year. 2007 had yet again so many incredible sets, and many of which that are very beloved today. However, the best set of the year was a really easy pick for me, and that is the beloved Trade Federation MTT. This is widely considered one of the best sets of all time, and better than any other MTT ever made. Similar to the Death Star though, we are rumored to see a brand new one very soon, this time perhaps in the Clone Wars color scheme, but the chances that it will be better than the original 2007 set might not be that high. The era of the Clone Wars sets finally begins with the release of the Clone Wars movie and the first season of this amazing new show. Of course, there were so many new sets this year, and one of them was the Republic gunship, which I think is easily the best set of 2008 that aged really well. We saw a much better build for this iconic ship, and some really iconic and beloved characters from the Clone Wars included, all with the new Clone Wars face print, which isn't my favorite thing ever, but at the time it worked fairly well to depict these characters. To this day, some consider this the best Republic gunship ever made. Quite similar to the Republic gunship is the Republic dropship with AT-OT, and once again it is a set that is often considered one of the best LEGO Star Wars sets of all time. This was a massive set retailing at $250 US, and it had the only depiction of both the AT-OT and the Republic dropship. We also got to see 8 clone troopers in this set, which is incredible, and today people would go crazy for so many clone troopers in a single set. But back in 2009, LEGO seemed to be incredibly generous to its Clone Wars fans. The 2010s era is widely considered some of the best years of LEGO Star Wars, and it definitely started off really well with these new sets. One of the UCS sets released this year was the Imperial Shuttle, which is the only UCS set of this beloved ship, and it was simply perfect. Once again, this is often considered as one of the all-time best LEGO Star Wars sets, and I can agree with it being up there, as it is exactly what you could hope to see from a set like this. It included 4 minifigures to fill the cockpit area, and had a massive sleek design depicting this iconic Star Wars vehicle very well. 2011 came around and brought once again so many good new sets, but for this one I have to look at the ultimate collector set of the year once again, and that was the Super Star Destroyer. It is rather surprising that this is the only Super Star Destroyer in the UCS form, and other than the newer midi-scale version of the ship, it is the only set depicting this iconic Star Destroyer from the Empire Strikes Back movie. It is one of the longest LEGO Star Wars sets ever made, with so much individual details around the build, and included a handful of minifigures from the bridge scene in Empire Strikes Back, missing only Zuckuss unfortunately. What I see as the all-time best year of LEGO Star Wars is 2012, as this was the year I started collecting LEGO Star Wars, and also just objectively such a good year. Between all these sets, I selected the Fury class interceptor from the Old Republic, and this was once again the only version of this set ever made. The Old Republic only got a small amount of sets, and don't get any attention anymore really. This set was just so cool to me back in the day, and to this day it is just perfect, with very cool minifigures, Darth Malgus being really sought after by many fans today. Once again, in 2013 we got so many good sets from all across the different shows and movies, and it was fairly easy to decide on a best set for this year. We got to see yet again another remake of the Republic gunship, and this was just the perfect depiction of this ship in a LEGO playset, and also the last time we have seen this version of the gunship in a non-UCS set. We got beloved characters from Attack of the Clones included, as well as some really good clone troopers that are quite rare today honestly. And of course, just what is objectively the best build for this iconic Clone Wars ship. 2014 was another fan-favored year of LEGO Star Wars, continuing the streak of really good years. This year we saw a brand new playset of the Star Destroyer, and this was for a long time one of my favorite playsets of all time, as it was just the coolest thing ever back when I was a kid. The shape and design of the Star Destroyer was pretty much perfect, and there was a handful of good Imperial minifigures included, and one of the first sets including these brand new Stormtroopers as well, which are easily the best design for these minifigures. My all-time favorite set was released in 2015, and that has to be the Ultimate Collector Series Slave 1. This is just an insane set, and the perfect depiction of this iconic Star Wars vehicles, that, if it isn't obvious already, is my favorite Star Wars ship by far. This set reintroduced Boba Fett with arm printing after so many years, and this minifigure quickly became very sought after. The ship itself looks stunning, with a massive design depicting the shape of the ship really well, with only a few added stickers here and there for the added detail. 2016 was quite an interesting year, filled with mostly sequel-era sets, some Rebel sets, and also original sets from the new Freemakers Adventure show. Between all the beloved sets this year, I chose the Captain Rex's ATTE from Star Wars Rebels. This is a severely underrated and forgotten about set, and out of all the sets from this year, it is easily the one I had the most fun with and to this day regard as one of my favorites in my collection. The minifigures were great, and this depiction of the post-war ATTE is just so fun. A really enjoyable build and very unique compared to the several standard ATTE sets released before and after this one. Of course, for 2017 I have to include what is probably the most iconic LEGO Star Wars set ever made, and that is the updated Ultimate Collector Series Millennium Falcon. For a long time this was the largest and most expensive LEGO set ever made, and it is still widely sold at LEGO stores today, despite being several years old. This version was really fun as you could make it look like an original trilogy Falcon or a sequel series Falcon. The bias towards the sequel side of the set might be a little bit much, and many fans would rather want the full Falcon crew included in this set. Despite that, however, it is a no-brainer that this set easily outperforms all the other sets of 2017. 2018 isn't really considered as one of the greatest years of LEGO Star Wars, with a fairly forgotten about lineup of sets. Between all of these we did see the first Master Builder series set though, and despite its mixed initial reaction, I think it outperforms all the sets of 2018, and is a personal all-time favorite of mine. The set had so much to offer, with 20 different minifigures that worked perfectly to recreate the different scenes of the movie, in the several different rooms included in this massive playset-like build. It was definitely different to the standard UCS set, hence the new label, but worked perfectly nonetheless, to depict the iconic Cloud City scenes in Episode 5, much better than the 2003 version of this set. The 20th anniversary of LEGO Star Wars brought quite a good year for this LEGO theme, with several anniversary sets and remakes, and some other brilliant sets to enjoy this year. However, the best set has to go to the remake of the UCS Star Destroyer, and this is just an insane set, and other than the Slave 1, probably my favorite UCS set of all time. The set had a much better and sturdier design to it, and a lot of added smaller details to improve the set completely, compared to the original in the earlier years of LEGO Star Wars, and it did that job really well. It is a pity that this one didn't get the long shelf life seen with the Millennium Falcon, as I think it really deserves it and wish to see it still on shelf today. 2020 came around bringing a brand new decade to LEGO Star Wars, and a whole new era of sets with the introduction of brand new Clone Troopers. Between all the love and hate the set this year received, I think the AT-AT is by far the best set released, and a playset that was long overdue for a modern remake, and it definitely delivered. The build is perfect for a playset styled 80/80 with a very sturdy and well-designed look to it, and a handful of fitting characters. However, this was just a teaser for what was yet to come, and in 2021, the UCS 8080 takes the cake for the best set of the year. And as far as I'm concerned, it is at this point the most expensive LEGO Star Wars set, at a retail price of $850 US. It was certainly worth the price though, with a behemoth of a build that is minifigure scaled and even included so many different minifigures to be used and interact with this build that is probably bigger than some medium-sized dogs. It is certainly an icon piece for any home, and in person really just blows away the competition. 2022 came around with quite a bit of controversy. But despite this, I think the 80TE released this year takes the place for the best set of the year. Of course, we saw some new UCS sets that were really incredible, but this 80TE did stand out a bit more to me. We got the best build of this iconic Clone Wars era vehicle, and the first minifigure of Phase 2 Commander Cody, who has been sought after for so many years. Of course, we did unfortunately see the helmet holes be introduced in this set that caused quite a bit of uproar in the community, but I am not too bothered by it and just really like this set and the minifigures included. In 2023, we saw yet again a handful of sets that had quite a bit of controversy around them, but also some really good sets in between. My selection though might be very biased, but I think the TIE Bomber is easily the best set of this year. Well, at least my favorite of the year. I was close to choosing the Venator of course, but I decided that I found so much more joy out of the TIE Bomber, and I genuinely see it as one of the best playsets released in many years, with really good quality, good minifigures, and an excellent price. Everything included is very fairly valued, and I would even imagine LEGO asking more for this set, comparing to other sets and the ridiculous prices we see with them, so this was just, at retail price, an absolute bargain. And now for the current year of 2024, I have to look at the midi-scale Starship collection. These sets this year were all incredible, but the standout one has to be the Millennium Falcon. This is one of my all-time favorite sets as well, and definitely what I consider the best Millennium Falcon set ever made, as it is very well detailed, a nice display piece for any desk or shelf, and also very affordable, compared to other versions of this iconic original trilogy ship. I genuinely really enjoy this set, and hope to see more sets of this quality in the future. What is your favorite set out of all of the sets looked at today? Let me know down below. Then I will see you all in the next one. God bless you and cheers.